I wish there were palm trees on 495. I wish there were palm trees.
All right, welcome to another episode of the 495 podcast, sponsored by Greater Long Island Media Group. This is your host, Michael White, along with
Nick Esposito.
And today we are with Kelly Briguccia. Good?
Briguccia.
Oh, man, I really shit the bed after the 10.
Mike practiced like 6 times.
Yeah.
And
he was in the mirror slapping his face.
and Jimmy Lyons.
Correct.
The owners and founders, right?
Correct.
Of North Fork Doughnut Company.
Correct.
Yes.
10 months old. You guys are located in Mattituck.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, no.
yeah, and we're in Patchogue right now.
My beer a little bit, sorry.
Thanks for taking the ride. Did you guys come from
Thanks for having us.
Mattituck today, or did you come from, you're in Yaphank, right?
Yeah. Came from Mattituck.
Yeah.
Oh, so you went out and then
Nice
you come
and,
back.
nice and early. Yeah.
Well, yeah, time to make the donuts, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yeah.
All bakers, they just work the night shifts? Is
Yeah.
that usually how it works?
For the most part, I would
For the most
say.
part, yeah.
What's like your schedule look like?
Yeah, what are your hours like?
So the shop, when we first opened, it was just Kelly and I, so it was really difficult for us.
So you work 24 hours?
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, The
Yeah.
entire summer.
Yeah, and it was funny because in the beginning we were like, should we hire people? I was like, nah, we got this. Just the two of us. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
Payroll company came in. How many employees do I have? Like, just 2. I think we're gonna be all right. Yeah, that was a huge mistake. And one, we couldn't handle the load that we were already incurring. Like we couldn't open at 9 a.m., which is when we first started opening, because we didn't have any help. So we couldn't do that. So we had to hire a ton of people. And now we open at 6 a.m., which is great because we have great staff now. But to open at 6 a.m., we have to be there at 3 a.m. to start the donuts.
Wow. And
Just 3 a.m., so what do you wake up like?
we do.
It's actually, it doesn't sound that bad anymore, 3 a.m.
3
It really
a.m.
doesn't. Well, for holidays and stuff, we're usually in at like 1:32.
wow.
Yeah.
So when do you go to bed? Like, should you be sleeping right now?
Yeah.
What
For the
time is
most
it,
part.
I guess it's 2
We
o'clock.
do. We go to bed at
It's like midnight for you
7
guys.
p.m.
Yeah, you guys just ate before you came here. So was that dinner?
I mean,
Dinner or toast? You pulled it off.
more or less, that's it's like the in-between dinner and lunch for us, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, there's been times where, I mean, it's almost like embarrassing. Like I look out our bedroom window, I'm like, are we really going to bed right now? And it's still
light out.
Yeah, it's still light out.
Yeah.
And our daughter's like, I don't want to go to bed.
It's still light out.
like, get in the bed, go to sleep. We got to wake up at 3 a.m. But yeah.
It's like it's 5:45.
What are you doing over here?
Yeah. My headset not working, and then I dropped my phone 3 times. And I spilled my beer over me.
Oh, man. How old's your daughter?
7.
Oh, wow. So she must love donuts, huh?
Yeah, she does.
That's like perfect.
She's not sick of them yet. That's for sure.
Was this her idea?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, she loves it. She works there actually on the weekends. In the summer, she's there all summer with us.
She's a donut taster?
That's like her part-time gig there. So she loves that. But the full-time gig is she actually works. You'll see her. You come into the shop at any time. She'll be sweeping. She'll be washing the windows.
Oh, cute.
Her main job is pouring coffee, like our cold brew, the nitro and the cold brew. She'll sit back there all summer long and pour cold brew and nitro for people who get it. And she has a little tip cup that she makes. And she's 7. She's learning how to read and spell. She's really good at it, but she spells tips. I think TIPPS.
Yeah.
So she has a little
So it
cup.
makes it even cuter.
It makes it even cuter.
That's better than TITS.
Yeah, I would prefer tips for our daughter. So she's back there making tips all summer, and
Cool.
she did. I think she made her goal was to buy a trampoline this year. She didn't quite hit that, but I think she made like almost $200 this summer
She
as a
did.
6-year-old. Yeah.
Wow, that's
She
awesome.
saved it all too.
Yeah, she's loving it.
She is.
Oh, nice.
So good.
And what's her name?
Tegan.
Tegan. Pretty name.
Thank you.
Yeah, my daughter's 5. She wants to be a candy maker.
Oh,
And she's been saying this
So
since she was
cool.
3. And when she was at the 3-year-old program at the Y, she had all the 2, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds like running a candy shop.
That's
The
so
teacher's like, we never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
She has the 3-year-olds doing this, and the 4, everyone was delegated jobs. I'm like, wow.
I
So
think we need her in our kitchen.
I
yeah,
was
right.
gonna
So
say
yeah,
that.
I'm setting it up.
Yeah.
I asked her the other day again. I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up? She's like, Dad, I keep telling you, a candy maker. So
She's like, it's not going to change.
yeah. She's pretty. She's pretty
very
adamant about that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
So how these first? Well, for one, when did you first come up with the idea, and then how did you end up in Mattituck, and how long did that process take? And where in Mattituck exactly?
So, firstly, we're on Main Road in Mattituck, right next to Love Lane. So, if you're familiar with out east at all, you probably know Love Lane. So, if you're heading east on Main Road, you will see Love Lane on your left-hand side. We're right past it. We got our own little parking
Right
lot.
next to the liquor store.
right next to the liquor store, and so in our parking lot there's the beer store and our store.
Mm-hmm.
So we just bought the beer store, and we're contemplating what to do over there as far as expanding the donut shop.
Cool.
But there is a liquor store right next to it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we have our own little parking lot. It's not. It's missable. I mean, it's not. It doesn't pop out, but it's there. And I mean, the parking lot's kind of small, but we're right next to Love Lane in Mattituck. So as far as the idea and where it came from, I think I've always loved to cook. I've been in the beer world for a long time, and reasoning for that is I always loved the science behind it. I loved the cooking aspect of brewing. I loved the craft and the culture of it. So I've always been into it on my end as far as cooking goes. And I'll speak for Kelly real quick, and I know she's been a baker for her whole life. Learned a lot from her mother, and so the two of us, when we met on the North Fork, and we kind of fell in love on the North Fork. Our first date was actually at the Dunkin Donuts.
Get out.
In Port
Fact.
Jefferson.
Romantic.
In Port Jeff, yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
guys shared a donut? Is that like sparked this whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was love at first bite.
Did you just run into each other? That sounds like a Tinder setup.
Tinder.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Tinder. Yep.
Yeah. Millennial shit.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Kelly is going back to Kelly's history, and she can probably speak to it better than I can. But I know her mom was always a baker. Kelly's mom passed away around 12 years ago, and we do a lot of stuff in her memory at our shop. So we used a lot of her recipes. We used to cook with a lot of her recipes in her recipe book, and we started making donuts at home, and they came out amazing.
How long ago was this?
Well, Kelly, I mean, how
Almost
long have
2
you
years
been
ago.
using her recipes and baking?
My entire life. Like everything that, like, especially the rainbow cookie one, I grew up watching that, and that was like my goal. When she passed away, I was like, I'm going to perfect it. It took me a really long time, but they're all her recipes. My entire life, basically, I've tried to perfect them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we took it from our kitchen. Well, I think it's a product of a lot of things. So we started making. We both love cooking. We both love being in the kitchen. Something that we both always enjoyed doing, and it turned out we were pretty good at it. So that combined with the fact that we both hated our jobs at the time, and we wanted to change and we wanted to do something different, took us to the idea of taking it out of the kitchen and bringing it to a more commercial setting and maybe creating something of our own.
It's awesome. Over like the last few years too, it feels like there's been like this boom of this donut culture and all these kind of like craft donuts, right? All these different places opening up across Long Island, across the country. There's a lot of differences in donuts. Can you like speak to the differences? What's a cake donut? What's a yeast donut? Sure. What kind of donuts do you guys sell?
Sure. I mean, to your first point, NoFoDoCo is actually we took the idea. I took the idea to open up a donut shop from before this. I was working in the beer industry. I used to work for Lagunitas Brewing Company, which took me to a lot of places all over the country, especially California. And if anybody's familiar with California and going out there, you'll know that there's a ton of little mom and pop donut shops out there. A lot of like immigrant owned or a lot of small family business owned, small family owned donut businesses out there, little donut shops. So I saw how good it was and how great they were, and I always thought the idea of doing it in New York would have been awesome. And there are a few people doing it out here. Some people are doing it really well. But the more we learned about donuts, to your second point, we figured out what donuts we wanted to make. And going towards my background with beer and just being in love with like the culture and the science and the culinary aspect of it and the craft aspect of it, we wanted to take the same approach with our donuts. So there's mainly, if you're looking at it from, hate to keep using the beer references, but from like ales and lagers, right? You have your two categories. Right. So with donuts, it's mostly cake donuts and yeast donuts. Excuse me. Yeast donuts, cake donuts are a little bit denser. They're a cake consistency. Very easy to make. Like anything else, I'm sure it's not very easy to make awesome, but like they're not hard to make. It's a cake batter. If you've ever made a cake before, it's a cake batter. You mix it up. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to mix it up. A little bit of floor time. Add it into a hopper. Fry them, and you got donuts. We wanted to take a little bit more, because we like making things difficult. We wanted to take more of a craftier, historical, traditional approach to things. So we decided to go with yeast donuts. So what that entails is it's a lot more involved. There's a lot more science involved. There's a lot more nuance and a lot more craft and hands-on. You need to be more involved in the process, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong. We don't make cake donuts.
Yeah.
So the reasoning for that is what you have to. That's the reason why we get there at 3 a.m. actually to open up at 6 is because it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to make a batch of donuts from start to finish. So a lot of times people ask us like, "Oh, this is an expensive donut." And I'm like, "Well, that donut you're holding took about 4 hours for us to make."
Yeah, we made $1 an hour.
Yeah, we got $1 an hour out of that donut. We're not doing too well.
Understanding the art behind it is.
And there's like I said before, it's like there's like this this kind of culture around donuts too. I mean, my fiance, tags me in an Instagram post daily about like this sick donut from wherever. It's like people love donuts. You guys are kind of in the business of making people happy, right?
Yeah, man.
I would like to think so.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Everybody loves donuts,
Right.
and everybody has always loved donuts. And then that's something that we always say about beer too. It's kind of recession-proof.
Yeah.
And donuts are the same thing. Donuts aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you ever seen anyone sad eating a donut? Because I haven't.
Never.
I don't think so.
crying into their donut.
I'll let you know when I do.
You see people like sad eating ice cream.
Yeah.
But you never
That's
seen
true.
someone sad.
Yeah.
No one's
Pity
sad
party.
eating a donut.
Yeah. When if you go through a breakup, you don't eat donuts, you eat ice cream, right? Traditionally.
Very
Yeah,
true.
when you meet your soulmate, you eat donuts.
Exactly. At Dunkin Donuts.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? How do you describe the difference between the yeast and the cake donut?
Scientifically.
No, just like what is Dunkin' Donuts?
It's just cake donuts.
Mm-hmm.
They're just much more dense. It's like a cake.
So Dunkin' Donuts
Cupcake.
has both. You might.
Do they?
Yeah. So most of the donuts that you probably have had in the past at Dunkin' are yeast actually.
Okay.
But they're made in large quantities, frozen in the factory and shipped out. They used to make their donuts at the shop, but now they're mass produced, frozen, and shipped.
And what about Krispy Kreme?
Krispy Kreme is yeast, so you get that like hot, soft.
God, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It just like slides right down.
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts always seem a lot more bready to me, like a piece of Italian bread or something.
Yeah, and I mean, what Kelly said, they do have cake donuts. So if you, I mean, I think of yeast, but they do have a
I think of
ton
the
of cake.
chocolate donuts, like the chocolate
Yeah.
munchkins.
Yeah.
That's what-
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, the big differences for us was when I thought about what kind of donuts we were gonna make, I thought of like being like stoned in like 11th grade and getting Krispy Kreme and being like, this is the like magic, and just crushing like 10 hot Krispy Kreme donuts. And it wasn't just the fact that they were like sugary and delicious. It was like this like hot, fluffy, soft like donut, and they really were like little magical things, and I loved them. And I wanted us to make a donut like that, sort of in that same realm. So yeast donut was the only way
That's the way to do it,
it's the only way to achieve that. So so the main difference is in the ingredients. So yeast is obviously the main difference. Yeast when it interacts with sugar, the two byproducts are alcohol and carbon dioxide. So naturally, when our yeast donuts react with the sugar and we give it some table time, what's called table time, after we mix it, anywhere from like 8 to 15 minutes, depending on the humidity, depending on the mixer we're using. The dough itself gets something called table time, where it sits down on the table and it rests, and the yeast starts to react. So it needs a specific temperature, usually room temperature. It'll get going in most temperatures, and when it gets super cold, it'll stop. When it gets super hot, it'll kill it and stop as well. But there's a big sweet spot there where it just depends on how rapid it is, which is the purpose of a proofer. So if you take a donut, I'll get to that part in a second. Yeah. So the donuts mix, then they rest, and when they're resting, the yeast replicates, and you'll notice the dough ball will go from something like this to something like this in about 45 minutes. So it's all that gas that's being trapped inside that dough, and it's creating that light, fluffy, all those cavities inside the dough, and it's making it, that squishy, light donut that you're used to from like Krispy Kreme or something.
So you're basically a scientist.
Yeah. I mean, I am.
We actually did learn a lot of science.
can
Yeah, it was
imagine.
so interesting.
Krispy Kreme used to be out east, and then it closed up, and now.
That place expanded so quickly, and then they all closed.
Yeah, I remember
Within a
just
few
taking
years.
trips. I live out here, and we used to take trips all the time to Krispy Kreme.
There was one in Huntington. There was one at the Excalibur in Vegas. I remember I was there for like 4 or 5 nights. I always ended up at Krispy Kreme.
There was one right down the block from us.
And I was
in
never
Levittown.
sad.
Yeah, I think the only one is in Jersey now.
No, there's one in Mohegan Sun, remember?
In Connecticut. Oh yeah.
Yes, one in Connecticut.
Kelly and I, the first time we were able to leave the shop since we opened, we were like, what was it? Our anniversary. or
Anniversary.
something? So we were like, let's just take a day trip. So we opened up the shop, and then we left midday, and we went to Mohegan Sun. took the ferry over from the North Fork right there. We had a great time, and then it was like 3 in the morning. We were both
Had to find donuts.
pretty, we were pretty lit up, and we found a Krispy Kreme, and we're like, let's just go see
What they look
look like now. You know when you like revisit something as an adult, and it's much smaller than you remember.
So different.
These donuts were like, I was like, this is it.
That's great.
The most beautiful thing is to see that sign outside that says that they're
hot.
fresh.
They're
Yeah, they're
right.
hot and
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah, there's
Well,
no
it
better
didn't
sign.
hold up. Sorry,
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme,
Well, now
if
that-
you're watching.
Now you're not an amateur anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It was they were tiny. Our donuts are massive.
If you're watching.
Krispy Kreme, if you're watching, our donuts are massive in general. They're bigger than any other donuts I've ever seen. So yeah, of course, most donuts are going to look dwarfed compared to ours. But the Krispy Kreme one, it was like it could fit in my palm, and our
Yeah,
donuts
they
are
will,
like
yeah.
this
We
big.
do a much bigger cut.
Yeah.
So we were like,
No. When did you guys open exactly? Was it
June 5th,
June-
2018.
it was just you two in the shop?
Yeah.
And you opened up at what time?
well, we were there. First day we opened, we didn't sleep. It was we were
He
there
didn't
all
sleep.
night. Yeah, I didn't sleep. I was there.
said.
We the day before we worked all day long, and then we knew we wanted to be open by 9 a.m. the next day because we were just giving ourselves a little leeway. So we're like, all right, let's just do 9 a.m. I stayed up all night long, and I think there was like ladders and sheetrock and cut wood and sawdust everywhere still because I built the whole place out myself with my father. Excuse me. Kelly designed it all, and my father and I built it all. So we were just doing everything ourselves, and there was stuff everywhere. It was drop cloths, and I was like, we got to get open. So 24 hours, 48 hours actually going into the day we opened. We got open at 9 a.m. Shop was great. It looked awesome. We were not ready. I mean, we started calling people, like our friends at home. We're like, can you come up to the shop and work? My brother was behind the counter. My
All of our
mom was
friends'
there.
Family were there.
All of her girlfriends were there. And
I'm sure there was some media hype before you opened, right?
no.
No, you just flipped the sign and everyone
Yeah,
drove up?
because we were actually a little nervous, so we didn't even do like
Oh,
ribbon
okay. It was
cutting.
more
we
like a
didn't do
soft opening
anything.
thing. Yeah.
Thank God, because we were so busy.
Yeah.
I think my dad, his mom, our entire family worked. All of
Yeah.
my best friends.
Like the original pictures of us
Yeah.
when we first opened. Like if we look back at these pictures from like June, our entire staff is like my brother,
Yeah.
his girlfriend,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, we didn't get any media hype actually. Because I think it's because of where we are. We're in the
Yeah.
North Fork, you know, and
Why'd you guys pick that location?
Yeah, how'd you end up there?
well, like I said, I think Kelly and I we had like an affinity for that area. We both loved the North Fork. We fell in
You
love.
go to
on
the
North
wineries
Fork.
a lot together and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
my mom has had a house in Southfield for like over a decade, so it just is a lot of fond memories out there. And we were thinking about opening in Patch Hog to begin with. We were looking at spaces out here, and I don't know. I think we both were okay with the idea of doing a lot less volume, but doing what we love and doing it at a pace that we're comfortable with, and making a product that we're comfortable with.
In a quiet area.
Yeah, in
we
a
wanted
quiet
like
area.
a mom and pop. Like,
Yeah, we were like, all
shop
right, if
idea.
this does well, hopefully it does well, and we'll have a small little donut shop forever. We'll pass down to our daughter, our son. You know, we'll do it that way. And it got busy.
Yeah. And then it got busier.
Yeah,
And then
Really
Doug
busy.
Eid came out
and
like,
yeah,
it's just
and blew it all up for you guys.
insanity.
Dougie just
Yeah.
sprinkled his Dougie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter, where you're located. If you like have the best donuts, like people will come to you.
People will talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and I just know it like firsthand because I go to New Jersey or whatever. There's this donut place, and me and my girlfriend or my fiance, we will drive like an hour out of the way just to stop at this donut place. Is it because maybe we're too much of foodies, or these places amazing?
No, I don't
but-
think it's just you. It's everybody.
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
people are willing to travel and pay, including myself and Kelly. We're willing to travel and pay for something it's got a little bit more attention paid to it, is a little bit more involved, a little bit
100%.
more crafty, and it's got more love in it, and it's going to taste better. And I mean, everybody can attest nowadays at how hard you got to work for your dollar. And if we're going to spend it, if you're going to go out, I don't want to go to the crummy bar anymore. I don't want to go to the crummy restaurant. I don't want fast food. Like I'll drive a half hour to go to a spot and have a cool experience and eat an awesome donut. And I think a lot of people feel the same way.
You guys are quintessential millennials. And this is being talked about in board meetings across New York City and elsewhere. How millennials are willing to pay for
It's
quality product,
so true.
unlike our parents who just
that-
kind of shop by price.
That might be one of the things that millennials got right. I mean, I'm on the cusp of it. I'm 34, so
Okay, yeah.
I'm what is it? Gen X?
Yeah, Gen X. I'm almost 40, so I'm pretty much a Gen Xer. but I hang out with a lot of millennials. I speak the language.
He knows our lingo.
But yeah, 34 might be on the cusp.
I think I got 1 foot in Gen X, so I'm all right.
Yeah.
Hey.
And if you have an older
Got
brother,
that.
you get some street cred too.
There you go.
Now, you grew up in Levittown?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what'd you grow up doing in Levittown when you were like,
What did we do in
early
Levittown?
20s? Yeah, where Levittown's so centrally located. Where does everyone go? The local neighborhood bar on the corner?
Yeah.
Or do you go to Freeport and
There's a lot of Coke bars in Levittown.
Rockville Center and stuff?
There's not a lot of friendly places for good kids to hang out in Levittown. Not to say I was a good kid. What we did was we pretty much walked around and
Not
drank.
saying I was a good kid.
Yeah, we pretty much walked around and drank 40s and hung out in school fields.
Oh, exactly what we did.
Yeah, so, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
In Levittown, I moved out when I was 18 to go to school. But before that, it's quintessential stuff.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in school fields and sumps and riding my dirt bike around and
Yep,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I was just wondering because we were talking off air. People in Centeridge, Selden, go out in Port Jeff. I was just kind of wondering where, Levittown and those areas in that.
We would go to the
area.
Hofstra bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
We went to back then it was I don't know if they're still there, but Bogarts.
Yeah,
and-
Bogarts.
Yeah. What is it?
Mulcahy's and
Mulcahy's over
Wantor.
there.
Mulcahy's and
Yeah.
Wantor.
Yeah.
Every Mulcahy's was the only place that really carded you. So when you turned 21, it was like a rite of passage. You're like, now I could finally hang out at
That's great,
Mulcahy's. So yeah, we had Mulcahy's and we did a lot of the Hofstra bars because I started drinking at Hofstra bars when I was like 15.
Right.
I think it was called BJ's back in the day.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was like Mirage, Bogarts, and
Yeah, Bogarts.
I forget.
Then there was Sprats. That's probably a little before your time. Sprats
Yeah.
on the water, Oceanside, Long Beach. Probably
Yeah.
did a lot of that.
yeah, Long
just
Beach for
curious.
sure.
If we ever get into Nassau, we need to find out the lay of the land. So we got
Hit me up.
Hang out.
a true
Fun
Nassau
hanging
guy
out.
here. So
Yeah.
So you're a craft beer guy. So recently you guys did a collab with a craft brewery. You guys teamed up, your donut shop, Dubco and Bayshore, and you created a strawberry donut beer. Can you tell us a little bit about that whole collaboration, what it was all about?
Oh yeah, definitely. So this is super exciting for Kelly and I because, all right, for me really.
That was actually our second beer collaboration.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
What was the first one?
Oh, we got to show love
we have
to
to our
North Fork
guys.
Brewing Company, man. Those guys are the two coolest people on the planet, and they make some incredible beer. Pete and Ian. Pete is just one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet in your life, and Ian is a total nerd, and it's perfect for beer because he's a chemist. He's like an actual chemist. So they're
awesome.
doing super cool shit where they're pulling yeast strains off of skins of fruit on the
Yeah.
North Fork and propagating it in this little lab they have, and they're doing really fun stuff. So we made the highest octane beer that they've made in their brewery to date with them. We did a imperial maple breakfast
donut
stout.
stout, yeah.
So we did a ton of lactose, so it was really light and had a good body to it, and it was kind of had that milk stout vibe. Excuse me. And then we added 30 pounds of our donuts into the mash.
Wow.
And then we did about 3 gallons of our maple glaze into the fermenter. Just dumped it right in on top of the beer. It came out at 9.8%. It was awesome. It was sick.
So good.
What were the calories per pint?
We don't count calories. Ever. Any of us.
Not in this business.
But then we did. That was such an awesome thing. I mean,
was
it was
so
their
awesome.
idea. I always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to impose on another brewery. Like, hey, we should do. We just always kicked around ideas of working together, and they really pushed us to do it, and we did it, and it was amazing. And then after that, I've known Chris from Dubco for a long time. I actually gave him his first keg that he started brewing from at home when I was working at Lagunitas. I gave him a Lagunitas keg, and now they make some of the best beer, if not the best beer on Long Island
they're doing a great
New
job.
York. I mean, they just brought home 2 medals from Tap New York, I believe, for their Coastal
The
IPA
Coastal
and their
IPA.
Dubco IPA.
Yeah.
Sick beer. So we were psyched to work with someone like that. I'm working with a company like that, and we were just amped that we were going to make this awesome can, and we were going to do this collaboration with them and work with Andrew Preston from Locals to Locals, and it was actually going to be in the stores to sell. Like the North Fork Brewery one, we did a cool party, and it was on tap. Now you can go to the store and buy this thing with our logo on it, so we were psyched. And it's kind of a dream of mine because I've always been in love with the beer industry, and I've always wanted to be I wanted to own my own brewery. It just never came to fruition. So yeah, it was really amazing. It was kind of a dream come true to start doing these things. And Kelly and I both have always had a goal of, from the start with NoFoDoCo, to align ourselves with businesses that are doing sort of the same stuff that we're doing, that are kind of the same vibe as us, and just kind of working together and teaming up and doing something really cool with another small crafty company owned by cool people doing cool stuff, making cool products. So for us, it was like a natural progression to do something with DoughnutCo. It came out incredible. I actually just got off the phone with them before I was here, and I think we're going to line up another one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Could you tell us about the beer, like what the flavor is, and is it available in like 4-packs, and where?
So the reason why I think we're doing another one is because I'm pretty sure it's sold out like island wide within a week.
Yeah. I tried it. It was amazing.
Yeah, you liked it? Good. Yeah. So it's a strawberry milkshake IPA. Now, even as a beer guy, I wasn't too keen on the milkshake style. It sounds disgusting, to be honest with you.
That's my fiance said, and then she tried it, and she's like, "Wow, this is actually really good."
Yeah.
And she doesn't even like beer.
I kind of wish they had a different name for it, but once you drink the beer, you realize it's actually an appropriate name. It is kind of thick, and it's tons of lactose, so the milkshake kind of works. And it sounds gross, but it actually works really freaking well. And we're lucky enough to do it with a company that makes that style like to a T. They're incredible. I think Tired Hands and kind of sort of invented the style, but DoughnutCo borrowed it. Like nobody invented the style really. They a lot of people are making milkshake IPAs, but I think DoughnutCo is doing it better than anybody right now. So I tried the style at the brewery with Chris and Andrew and Kelly. And we were like, yeah, this is awesome. I love it. I mean, the style itself, milkshake kind of, everything's really juicy, New England style IPA, super cloudy, very bright and juicy, and it's awesome. I love it. But what I liked about the milkshake style is the addition of like oats and lactose kind of subdued the bitterness a little bit and balanced it a little bit more. So you've got all this awesome, rich, bright flavor without like a crazy bitterness, So it really even highlighted the qualities of a New England style IPA that people already love without that harsh bitterness at the end. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we have our strawberry donut that we make at the shop. So we added same kind of concept. We added a bunch of donuts to the mash, tons of lactose and tons of strawberry at the end. And
the labeling looks awesome too.
Yeah.
Can looks awesome.
Yeah, when Andrew sent it to us, and he's like, "What do you think?" And me, Kelly, and Chris were like, he gave us like two styles. It was like one with the sprinkles on it and the other one without it. And he's like, yeah, I don't really like the sprinkles, so I think we're gonna go with this one. And me, Chris, and Kelly were like, nah, man, the sprinkles are cool. Like, so awesome. Let's roll with it. Yeah. And I'm glad we did because I think the can came out incredible.
Yeah. Looks so good. So, and you guys are working on something else soon.
Yeah, no details yet. But I know that we're definitely going to work with them more, and we hope to work with more breweries, but definitely DoughnutCo, and we want to possibly, I think we would all like to do some sort of a series where, we put it out, and, people were coming to the donut shop to buy it, and I was like, dude, we don't have a liquor license here, we can't sell you beer.
That would be cool, like a 12-pack, like a dozen donuts, like all different flavors in the 12-pack.
They would have to sell it at the brewery, that would, because we can't sell the beer, but they could sell our donuts, so that's not a bad idea.
That's a really cool idea.
But speaking of collaborations, off mic, we were talking about you guys going to be working with Blue Point Brewery a little bit. Can we talk about that? Yeah,
sure. So we haven't said anything in stone just yet, but it's pretty much there. So we got contacted by some really great people at Blue Point, the executive chef and a guy named Adam. Really good people came into the donut shop, and we met over the winter, and they had expressed some interest in possibly selling our donuts at in the tap room. So they contacted us recently and said, we're getting closer, we're going to open up, like, you want to do this? And Kelly and I were like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we're working out details now, but yeah, it's about almost 100% chance you'll be able to buy our donuts at the tap room in Blue Point.
Wow, so you ended up in Patchogue anyway.
Yeah.
Do you guys distribute anywhere else other than out of your own shop in Mattituck and potentially Patchogue soon?
Right now, we're kind of just trying to hone in on all that and figure that out, and gotta get
don't want to oversaturate the market at the same time, right? It's a delicate dance.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the beginning we were like, let's pump it out. Let's get like a bunch of donuts out. And then we actually had to pull back a little bit because we didn't realize how busy the shop was going to get, and we couldn't handle it. So we definitely pulled back on wholesale a little bit, but the past few months have been completely focused on ramping up production so we can start doing wholesale. But we want to do it in a very particular strategic way. Like, I don't think Kelly and I want to see our donuts in 100 different cafes on the island. I think we'd rather probably see it at 20, 25 places all over the island that are sort of in the same idea of what we was talking about earlier, where like they sort of aligned with us, like a partnership almost. They do good business, they make a good product, and they could highlight their product with our donuts, and we can
like-minded people and products.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's about distribution. from a business standpoint, it's more about volume than distribution for us. So we'd rather sell a ton of donuts at a really awesome business than sell a dozen a week at 100 different cafes.
Right. You know? What about catering? Do you guys do any catering for private parties and stuff like that?
That's this genius right here that I don't want to touch.
We do. We do a lot of catering. We do a ton of weddings. We did, I think, over 60 weddings last summer at all the vineyards. So that's
like at the donut wall and all that?
We do the donut wall, the donut tower, baptism, birthdays, anything. You come to. We did donut bouquets for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's amazing.
We do anything. And we love a good challenge, too. If I get an email and they're like, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I baptized a baby with strawberry frosting this summer. I didn't really do that.
Now the shop out in Mattituck, what does it look like? Is it and what was there before you guys took it over?
It was a frozen yogurt shop.
Okay.
Yeah. The vibe, it's like.
Is it tiny?
It's super. It's super cool. We like it very homey. It's like rustic and quaint. Pallets everywhere.
Nice.
Greenery. Yeah.
And then behind the storefront is where you make the donuts every day?
Yep.
And then you purchase the beer store next door, and you're looking to produce more there. Gotcha.
Yeah. The store itself, the shop it's really cool. It's small, quaint. Someone, I think someone described it like, I don't think they meant to say this, but they're like, yeah, it's like a little hole in the wall. You would never expect it. I was like, that's kind of insulting.
It's kind of true.
It's charming little hole in the wall.
Exactly. Yeah. It's beautiful. Like, we did great work there. There's nothing dilapidated about it. We redid everything. We made the place look really nice, but it is sort of small and in the middle of nowhere. It's not on Love Lane. It's not in Mattituck proper, but it is. It's its own little area, and I think it kind of adds appeal to it as well. I think it's like super. It's just like we have our own thing going on, which I think people appreciate. And unless you are doing well, that sort of thing might put you out of business, because you kind of like stand aside from everything else. But I think that people appreciate our vibe and what we're doing over there, and it's a fun little spot to get away to. The parking lot sucks, but
we're
working on that.
We got to come up with some sort of idea to do like some sort of donut festival. Like there's like craft beer tasting, like some sort of like donut festival where we get all these guys from you and all the other donut places in Long Island.
Yeah, everyone goes
Such
up
a
to
good
like
idea.
Lake Placid or something like that.
No, or like we like do something in, like Long Island, and like maybe have like the best donut win something like.
I love it, like a chili cook-off.
Cool.
Meets like a cast festival.
Exactly.
Maybe Greater Long Island will do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Greater Long Island.
And to support each
If
other.
you're
too.
listening.
Greater Donuts.
And we're all
Donuts
creating
contest.
such different donuts, so I think
Right?
that's pretty
Friendly
cool.
competition.
Yeah, it'd be
I like that.
a good way to like really exercise your creativity and just
For sure.
push the envelope.
I'll sign up to be the tester. You don't have to go look far. Don't worry about it.
Hell yeah. Well, it's actually interesting you say that. That's like something that we absolutely love doing. We love elevating the product to do something cool. Like we do a lot of wine pairings. So a lot of the vineyards out by us, they'll give us like tasting profiles of their wine, and Kelly and I will sit down and we'll come up with different donut flavors that we've never made before or don't have at the shop, or that probably anyone would ever expect to be on a donut. And we have a lot of fun with it. It gives us a chance to like kind of geek out a little bit and do something fun and different with the donuts. And we've been doing a lot of that lately. Last week we did a bananas, and we do everything from scratch and in our kitchen day of. So we made like a fresh banana Foster's in the kitchen, and we made a banana Foster's donut. We cut it in half, and we did like fresh chocolate shavings on it with a chocolate drizzle, and that came out really good. And
Fresh whipped cream.
Yeah, Kelly makes all these awesome whipped creams, like honey whipped creams, honey cinnamon whipped creams, and we did a Bailey's whipped cream for
St. Patrick's Day.
So yeah, we made this amazing whipped cream and banana Foster's, and to pair with a certain wine, and then we made a lemon meringue with like a fresh raspberry sauce that we cooked down and made ourselves, and we made a strawberry shortcake donut. So we do fun stuff like that where we kind of like just kind of flex the donut muscle a little bit. Yeah, we got one coming out. Actually, we're making this tomorrow. I'm a little shook about it. Not really shook. I'm like, we have to map it out. It's like, it's prep. We have to figure out how we're gonna do this. It's not just dipping and throwing sprinkles on it. Like these sort of things take time to kind of formulate, plan, and figure out. So we got. They're doing a press release tomorrow for this. I don't know if I can talk. I don't. It's not a big deal. So
I don't think this will air until probably.
It's only
days,
Facebook Live. It's not going to air.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're doing this really cool. They didn't know when to actually not talk about it. So it's a cool donut. So Kelly and I, we're trying to figure out how to. So we're going to be in some great company tomorrow for great chefs of the North Fork or chefs of the North Fork. So some real amazing people and some great chefs are going to be out there, and they're doing a press release for this event that comes out in July. So we wanted to make something fun and something cool. We did what we're going to do is like we made this donut called the Goat. It's like the goat, the greatest of all time, and we're using goat cheese though. So something you wouldn't expect on donuts. So we're making our fresh yeast resin donut filler, and we're going to fill it half of it with a fresh blueberry compote that we make, and a little bit of like a goat cheese filler from a local farm out in the North Fork. We're going to make a fresh blackberry blueberry icing and top it with fresh berries, and we're making a homemade lemon sugar dusting on it. So it's gonna that's something that we do to sort of elevate the product and set us aside from what other people are doing. You know?
Much more culinary forward.
Yeah.
So we get to have fun.
Yeah.
We're also seeing on social media that there's like expansion plans in the works for you guys to open a possible second location. Is there anything you can go into on that one?
We're working on it. Yeah. Stay tuned for sure. I would say, if you pay close enough attention, I'm sure the clues are there. But yeah, we're working on it. We got a location planned out. Kelly and I are working tirelessly around the clock to figure out how to make it all work and get it open as quickly as possible. Where the amount of planning that goes into something like that was way beyond what we expected. So it's been extremely exciting, and like it's been a huge learning experience. When we started out with the new location, we were talking with a landlord. And I think like 3 emails in, I was like, listen, man, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what this is, mechanical engineer. So I was like, I don't know any of these people. I was like, so if you want me to start paying rent, we got to figure this out, and you got to tell me what we got to do. So it's been a great learning experience for us. We've learned a ton. And we're getting there, Cool. So we're going to start announcing some stuff. We're going to be doing some cool, fun, like media content releases involving that. And we're going to be doing some more projects with other companies. To sort of align ourselves with that in the new opening. So no details, no serious details yet, but we're getting there.
How many locations did you check out before you found this one? Did you like travel all over? Like, was it a bunch, or you just like found this one?
Did you get a call from a friend like you gotta check this place out?
No,
we actually only checked out one other location
here.
And then, in Patchogue.
Yeah.
And then we got the phone call, and our real estate agent said, I have something you might like. We were like, meh, I don't know if that's our vibe, if that's what we want. We checked out one other building in Mattituck, a house, and then we just fell in love with this location.
Awesome.
Yeah. It really was like love at first sight because
you had like a Tinder date with your own potential space. And how could people follow along? I don't know if you have more questions, but how could people follow along to try to to learn about all such a dynamic company? Where can people follow you guys to find out what you're doing, who you're working with, what you're opening?
Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
we sort of live and die by that because it's such a great platform to get information out there, and we have had the fortune of getting such a big following on Instagram so early, so we're able to get this stuff out to people.
And donuts are so photogenic.
Yeah.
You're in the right
They're
business
so
for
beautiful.
Instagram.
Have you guys? I'm sure you have.
It's like people in bikinis and donuts, like top
really
two
what it
things.
is.
Yeah.
Food influencers.
We should probably mix that. Yeah.
That's actually a really great idea.
Donut bikini.
Yeah.
Donut bikini.
Yes.
That's like it.
Isn't that like
Next
Carl's
level
Jr.?
shit right here.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I'm sure you guys have bumped into a bunch of food influencers and that stuff. What is that whole experience like when you have all these people come down and take pictures of your stuff? Like, what is that whole process?
It's exciting. In the beginning, it was really cool. We're like, oh,
We learned so much.
Look at they're posting pictures of what we created. It's kind of cool. And then now it's like, oh, we got to give it to them for free. Like,
Everyone keeps knocking on the door now, right?
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, they've helped us in ways that we couldn't imagine. I didn't see the value in any of this stuff. Admittedly, so I was like, all right, Instagram, we'll get an Instagram going, and we ran it ourselves for the first 4,000 followers, and Kelly did it all, and thank God I didn't have anything to do with it because I didn't really care about it, and Kelly saw the sort of the importance behind it and took it by herself in like a couple of months to 4,000 followers, which is like bananas, and then we had a company step in and help us out to get to now what we have just recently. A few days ago, we have 10,000 followers now.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. You got anything else you want to ask? Yeah, it's almost
you guys-
bedtime.
yeah, it's
This
bedtime.
is actually very relaxed.
Yeah, it's 2:18 in the afternoon. About bedtime for you guys.
This is the least I've used my brain in
Oh,
like.
good.
Yeah, it's wonderful, man.
That's great
Yeah.
to hear, man.
But
Awesome.
The two of us usually barking at each other in front of a computer and a notebook for like 6 hours.
Oh,
a
good.
day.
We got
Work
the
in the
energy
kitchen,
level
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
That's nice.
For sure.
But no,
Yes.
guys, thank you very much for joining us on our podcast. This is episode 24. Everyone who's listening to us, thank you for tuning in, and make sure to like, subscribe, rate us, check out NoFoDoCo, get some donuts, take some pictures of it, post on Instagram, and tag us, tag them. Thank you very much, guys.
At NoFoDoCo.
At
Instagram.
NoFoDoCo.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
The 495.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
guys.
guys.
Strongest that I've ever felt before. In my current state and in these days of war, we must grow together or the end is near. Thicken up your skin and loosen up your fears. I've been waiting through my limitations, choosing to move.